Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be an energy report. I'm looking at the full moon in Aries, and this is October 1st-ish to 2nd-ish. And we also had Saturn go direct in Capricorn, and Mars is still retrograding in Aries, and I think it's interesting that the moon is going to be in there, because the moon technically is the ruler of the High Priestess, and she's in Aries with the Emperor who's on his head. So, I just want to see what kind of energy is present with the energy report, and I've decided in a rare event to use my box of charms, which I usually use only for Patreon. So I've got 195 in here. I've got another list started of additions to make. They're made out of printer cardstock, and these guys right here. And when they disintegrate and peel and whatnot, I'll just print out another set on the same printer cardstock, because I scanned them. Just cut them out again. My handy paper scissors. So, if I bounce these out of the thing, they're gonna land in the trash and everywhere. So I'm just gonna stir the pot here and grab some out and see. Like, I have an idea of what's going on with the energies, but I don't want to get any cards until I do the card of the day in a minute. But I just want to see what's going on. Okay, so I'm getting like 3 distinct piles here. Kind of. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so the middle pile I've got here is Mars retrograde in Aries. So I have 2 charms invert, and I have 4 of them upright. So inverted, I have the bone and the maple syrup. Sugar. And then upright, I have the happy mask, fancy duck, the rainbow, and the magician hat. So, based on something I saw on Facebook earlier, I was getting "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood." And then I had this idea of getting all the ducks in a row. But I also feel like the rainbow and the magic hat go together. But maybe also this. Mars retrograde in Aries. I'm pretending my manifestations are going the way I want them to. Also I'm getting this as like Rainbow Bridge. Okay. So with these in reverse, I'm hearing, what I'm getting is it's bleeding me bone dry. But there's this idea that it's coming, like, and there's a comparison between a tree with its sort of exoskeleton-ish situation and a human body, the bones. What is the duck? Okay, so the duck can dive deep, right? That's what the masculine energy with Mars retrograding in Aries is doing right now. I also see the bone as sort of sexual metaphor of the masculine. And the syrup, sticky sweet. Oh, okay, okay. I see what's happening. Masculine energy is like overusing their like source energy, right? They're like over harvesting their masculine energy from the core. So it's like if you think that like if someone is in Mars energy and they think that they're being masculine, then they're like literally thinking with their dick. And it's this idea of like, I am man, I hit everything with my bone. And there's this idea of bravado. But like with any magic that gets overused, it can it has to siphon the energy out of your body. Like if it's like I think the most the most accurate normal everyday depiction I can think of is like if you don't have enough phosphorus in your bones, if you're if you're gestating a fetus, it's going to suck what it needs out of your bones, and you'll end up with brittle bones. But there's also this idea in a lot of like science fantasy where someone who's casting a magic spell, if you use too much fire energy, you're going to freeze to death. If you use too much earth magic, your bones are going to turn to dust. If you use too much water magic, you're going to die of thirst. If you use too much air magic, you're going to like choke to death because you can't breathe. And I feel like this is what the energy is saying, that the masculine energy has sort of like overdriven the amount of androgen available in the body. And it's the Mars retrograding in Aries is, it's like it's a way of pulling that back, turning it inside out, and like sort of putting the masculine energy on the battery charger. And some of that has to do with the deep dive. And a lot of it has been emotional because I've been seeing in readings that the masculine energy has been sort of crying out for the feminine, for the Venus energy to come in and do the emotional work necessary, right? Because for Mars to be in balance, there's going to be diplomacy, negotiations, like treaty writing, observation of the enemy, um, you know, like a more of a culturally aware, and then this idea of like psychology and things like that, right? It's not just attack, it's also protect. But in this instant, it's there isn't going to be more fire until there's rain, and then there'll be a clearing. So the next pile I was getting, I think, I'm not sure which one's supposed to be for the moon and which one's supposed to be for Saturn. because I can see some of the things. So let me try to, let me flip my miniature penny here. Alright, so heads, the bear pile, tails, the stegosaurus pile. Alright, so give me the moon. Where did it go? I gotta find it. It's, where the hell did that even go? Oh, here it is. Falk found, okay. So tails the stegosaurus, so it landed with the Lincoln Memorial up. You can't, my webcam is so crappy, you're not really going to be able to see that. You sort of see that it's oblong. Okay. Alright, so the moon. Full moon, full harvest moon in Aries. Alright? So, at least for kicking off October, Aries is going to get a little bit of that feminine energy that they want, but it's coming in with the High Priestess instead of the Empress. So they might not get the grounding and nurturing that they want, but they're going to get a whole lot of water. And it's probably going to jack up the psychic downloads. So, in reverse, Honey Badger, right? Combative, doesn't give a shit. Biting snakes, throwing down. This is the combative Mars energy that's being, it's being worked over and turned inside out during the Mars retrograde in Aries period. Now, so upright, I have a Stegosaurus that landed on the goose. Honk honk here. And I feel like this is sort of related to the duck. Right? The duck is diving deep emotionally over here with the Aries stuff, but then the goose is like angry honking in the moon area. And I just heard dark side of the moon. And then I have a rainbow here. So hold on. That's what I get for going to the middle of the pile. When you have a rainbow in association with the dark side of the moon, this is what you get. There's a little fucking crack or something in there. I'll use the back side. Alright, the dark side of the moon. Brain damage. Where are we at? Oh, okay. The lunatic is on the grass, remembering games and daisy chains and laughs. Got to keep the loonies on the path. The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor, and every day the paper boy brings more. And if the dam breaks open many years too soon, and if there's no room upon the hill, and if your head explodes with dark forebodings too, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. So the lunatic is in my head, the lunatic is in my head. You raise the blade, you make the change, you rearrange me till I'm sane. This is what's happening with... this is so much easier when I don't have to hold them all up singly. You rearrange me till I'm sane is what's happening with the Mars retrograde right now. Right? This is not that sane. Ooh, my finger just tingled. That's weird. Oh, okay. Where was I at? Where am I at? The lunatic is in my head. The lunatic is in my head. You raise the blade, you make the change, you rearrange me till I'm sane. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. That's the ego. And if the cloud bursts thunder in your ear, you shout and no one seems to hear. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. And look how the inside of this album looks like a heartbeat. Fucking epic! Ooh, 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 I'm bending the vinyl. Fuck. What else is in here? Oh, oh. Oh, that's smelly still. Didn't know this was going to be a show and tell. Oh, there we go. It's not showing up on here, but that's purple. There's some crown activation. I should put that up somewhere. I don't have enough space on my walls anymore. What's this other one? Oh, that's just the band members. Okay. Just a little Pink Floyd poster. This record is actually new. I haven't had it since the 70s. I bought it last year at Best Buy or somewhere. Okay, so brain damage. So the goose and the duck here are sort of in opposition, right? This is the water going into the fire, and this is the fire sort of consuming the Cancerian energy. And then the Stegosaurus. This is sort of like an ancient pattern, right? Ancient thing, historical thing. It sort of is mirroring the bone here, right? I'm digging up the skeletons in my closet. They've been hanging out for a long time. But even the Stegosaurus, he has sort of protect with the plates and attack with the tail, right? There's a defense mechanism. And we see that the overuse of the masculine energy for the masculine is creating an imbalance where they're constantly in defense mode, right? Attacking constantly is a defense for a masculine energy that's out of balance. Now, when the brain damage song was mentioning clouds, I was like, boom, right in there, clouds. Because obviously it's not a good rainbow drawing if it's not sitting in clouds. And then I have a balloon here. I was gonna say, when I see this, it gives me we all float down here. So this idea that Mars energy has not wanted to go into their feelings. They're like, I'm not fucking going down there. What the hell, man? This is some clown ass shit. But the I heard don't burst my bubble. I also heard this idea of like breathing, and there's this thing. Do I have it? I might have it. Hold on. I hope this doesn't have weird breaks in the. I hope this doesn't have weird breaks in the video and audio, because I found out lately that my webcam decides to friggin' like slow down when I'm in the middle of recording, and it does this thing where it like drags the video and then it takes a couple minutes for it to sync back up, but then it slows my voice way down, so it sounds like semi-demonic, or at least somebody said it was demonic, but it drops it a couple octaves, which is, I don't need help there. Let me see if I can find the image that I want to find in here. It has to do with the balloon. I'm looking in the Elegant Universe. I think it's probably in the other book that I don't have. Unless I have both of them. I think I only have this one. What's the other one? The Fabric of the Cosmos, I think. I just want to see if this has the picture that I'm looking for. If not, it's just going to kind of suck for me. Maybe. There's a picture. This might be as close as I can get. Let me just check further back in the book and see. I think out of like the amount of times that I've read the same basic fucking physics that I would be able to find where it's at. Here. There's I don't know if it's famous, but there's a common picture, at least in my little area, of universal expansion where there's a dude blowing up a balloon, and it's got pennies taped to the outside of it, and as he blows the air out, it expands the universe and the pennies get further apart, and that's supposed to explain the expansion of galaxies in the universe. I just wanted to see if I could find the picture, but I think it's in the book that I don't have. Naturally. But the idea is that there's, you know, little things in the universe, and as the person blows the balloon that they're sort of on, like as the balloon expands, like this squares would be on the surface of the balloon, these little spheres on here would get further and further apart. But the thing that Nassim Haramein pointed out was that, who's the dude blowing up the balloon. So the idea is that the air in the balloon is sort of creating expansion into like a light. Yeah, it's creating expansion into light, but where it's coming from is from like the matching dark place, right? So there's this idea that there's going to be expansion in terms of some of it's water energy, because there's like spit in it, and but it's mostly like thoughts and perceptions. So sort of a long walk for that concept, but the idea is that the balloon can represent a universal flow from one flavor of energy into another. Right, we're taking the masculine hot air and putting it into something that looks rather feminine. It looks like a boob. And then also I have the telephone. Old style. Dial up, bitches. And wait for that modem to... Wait for the robot to scream its agony of death. So again, there's this idea that the moon energy is helping bring in a wake-up call. It's like ringing in a new phase. It's dialing up your energy. So let me get into the Saturn energy, because this video is getting kind of long. Saturn direct in home of Capricorn. I didn't do anything for the Mercury in Scorpio. I'm going to have to get another pile of charms in a second. God damn it. So for adding the energy of Saturn going direct, I have in reverse the whale. The humpback whale. Always reminds me of Star Trek 4 ever since I drew this guy. Also reminds me of Voyage of the Mimi. Did you ever see that in school? It had Ben Affleck in it when he was like 12. And then also in reverse, I have the bear. Me mother's a bear! The trailer was misleading! I think of that every single time I think of Brave. Fucking robot chicken. I was thinking, this is usually diving deep, right? You gotta go deeper into the emotions, you come up and you like spew out the air, and that's kind of the same as what's gonna be in the balloon. And the bear is usually hibernation. So when I was looking at these two together, and they both came out reversed, I heard that song, Nowhere to Run to, Nowhere to Hide. Right? It's like, I'm gonna get you. It's like, in, The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but, when Jim Carrey is getting his memory erased, he finds out that he doesn't want the memories erased. And he starts hiding the memories of his love interest within his other memories. And then the team has to, like, double time to try to track him down. But with the, now why the hell was that relevant? Oh, okay, yeah, you can't hide your emotional content that needs to be cleared underneath the dead leaves of other emotional stuff and then pretend that it's not there. And it's also this idea that Saturn retrograde over, no more hibernating. Like, you gotta come out into the woods and, like, do the things, right? Because there's been this kind of energy with Saturn retrograde of, like, running and running and running on the hamster wheel, and then, like, nothing really happening. And so while some people may have been unable to work and just sort of felt like, for others, like me, I've been doing a lot of work, but hasn't really gone anywhere. So it's this idea of, you know, the doorway is opening, like we're rolling the rock away from the cave, and you need to get up off of the table. It's a little Jesus reference there. Now, also with the Saturn retrograde, I've got the shower. I mean, the Saturn going direct. Jesus Christ. So the shower. I have the castle. I have this candelabra, like a Lumiere, and the owl, which looks more like one of those, like, little, like, fake stained glass things you stick in the window. That's what that kind of looks like. Illumination and wisdom. I also feel a lot like this is saying, like, we're gonna put some new lights and plumbing in the house, which is illumination and emotional cleansing. This is also foundational energy, but it's also that sort of, like, Three of Pentacles, like, we've got new plans for this cathedral, right? Give me the floor plan, let's remodel. It's also giving me Beetlejuice. Like, deliver me from LLB, and this, it's like, oh look, an indoor outhouse. It's like, you're lucky the yuppies are buying condos so you can afford what I've got to do to this place. Although in that movie it didn't end up going very well for them when they remodeled the house. But what I'm getting here is cleansing and repair of, I mean, it has to do with manifestation because it's Saturn, but it's sort of like dusting off the old tricycle so you can ride on down to work kind of energy. You know, it's like taking the dust covers off of the furniture after you've been on vacation for a while, and you know, taking your seasonal clothes out of the closet and like washing the other ones and putting them away, and like seasonal cleaning and stuff like that, especially because we just hit the equinox recently as well. So it's this sort of opening up, wisdom, remodeling. Like, I've been wondering what to do with this shit over here for 5 years, and all of a sudden I've got this brilliant idea, and I know exactly what I need and what I'm gonna do. So that's this idea of like now that I finally know what I'm doing, I gotta do it like now. Do it now. So I know I want to get a little bit for the Mercury going into Scorpio. I did a bunch of readings for October under the assumption that Mercury was still going to be in Libra, and that's kind of upset me, but I don't claim to be an astrologer. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it makes sense because Mercury has a smaller orbit. We'll just know for next time. I don't really know that much about astrology, but I do what I can. I've learned a lot in the last few months. Okay, so here it is. So for the Mercury in Scorpio, Jesus Christ, I don't know, that's so hard for me to remember. I've got 3 things inverted. This is going to be interesting. I've got the paper crane. Now, when I was reading... Give me the album back. I need it. When I was reading the lyrics in here... Where the hell is if I stop humming the music, I could fucking find the lyric I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor, and every day the paper boy brings more. Okay, so when I read that, I thought of my paper crane, and this came out inverted. Right, we're not just gonna keep folding up that same shit that comes in every day. But I also got the swan inverted. I have a lot of watery birds here. Because the other one over here is a fucking penguin. This came out inverted, and this, in the Wild Unknown Tarot, is the court. All the court cards are swans. So it gives me this idea of emotion. There's also this idea, possibly, of monogamy. This idea of being able to take flight, but also being able to dive deep. And then I have this club here, a mace. Fucking mace, man. This is kind of like an ace of wands for me. I feel like this is kind of like... This, to me, is giving me 7 of Swords, which is actually the moon in Aquarius. I think it's, yeah, the moon in Aquarius. Let me check. Mercury in Aquarius. The moon in Aquarius. It's the 6, okay. Alright, the moon in Aquarius, 7 of Swords, that sort of, like, fake kind of energy. It's similar to this. But this is, like, sort of more like manipulation, right? I'm just gonna keep, rebranding this, stale paper and tell you it's something new that you want. So I feel like with Mercury going in Scorpio, there is this sort of the connotation of like sexual things because of the scorpionic energy, the plutonic energy. Let me see, who's Scorpio? Okay, so it's the King of Cups, Libra and Scorpio. Okay, so this is representing the transition. We went from Libra to Scorpio, and all of a sudden we're cut off from stable emotions because we're not sucking off the we're not sucking off from the energy of Venus. Wow, that did not sound right out of context. And there's this idea of like, hey, what the hell, man? Like, but I also get this idea that these three reverse charms are giving me this idea of like being committed to this sort of like core driven life path of uh, you know, just sort of telling people what they want and making accommodations to what's expected and trying to, you know, bend over backwards to other people's expectations. Now, what's coming in upright for this Mercury in Scorpio energy is this dragon. This is also an Ace of Wands energy for me in my charms. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. And then I have the penguin. Can't fly worth a crap, but penguin makes a crappy paper airplane, but can go in the water. Can go in the cold water, too. So what I see here is this sort of fire and ice energy. Right? Mercury to me makes me think more of like air, right? Because Mercury had the winged sandals and he was kind of a trickster. He was a little bit more in that, like, have I got a deal for you kind of energy in some of the stories. But it just gives me this idea of, you know, like when you're up in the airplane and it's colder because it's colder away from the bio heat mass. But then there's this idea of like all this heat and fire, which to me is more Scorpio. I mean, technically, if you compare Hades, the ruler of the underworld, i.e. Pluto, um, he's essentially he's basically the same character as the devil, and he's got like a river of lava and whatever going through his underground area. Um, so even though Scorpio is water, it's like the fiery water sign. And what's it, Pisces? Yeah, Pisces is like the airy water sign, and then moon energy, Cancer, is like the earthy water sign. So with the moon coming in Aries, there's going to be another little push for Mars energy to have some grounding with their emotional content from some feminine energy before the full moon energy is like, peace out, now you're really on your own, you don't get the other training wheel on anymore. But this Mercury and Scorpio energy, to me, looks an awful lot like the Six of Swords, which is, I'm looking for a certain charm. It looks a lot like the Six of Swords to me, which is actually Mercury in Aquarius and has nothing to do with Scorpio. But the idea is that the Six of Swords has a boat on it, And when it's inverted, it's going deeper, right? It's going down into the underworld on a journey to seek out the darkness. And in that way, that's where it gives me scorpionic energy. So there's essentially this is temperance, but it's extreme. It's sort of like we need to turn the ship, but we're gonna do a hard left, and you better all go stand on the other side so it doesn't tip over. Okay, so those are the energies that are present, and sort of an unusual energy report on them in that way. So I'm supposed to, according to my schedule, do bi-weekly astrological things by element for YouTube, and it feels like a little bit too much, so I might only be doing those once a month for YouTube, because I have a lot going on, and I'm debating whether or not to go back to work a couple days a week at like a job. I don't really want to. I would much rather be all in the energy work and the artwork. But I have to see what happens in the next couple of weeks, because I don't really want to take time away from putting out readings, because I think it's important. So, but I'm also not getting artwork done that I need to get done, like this painting back here and this pile of stuff on my table. So I gave myself sort of an because I'm Capricorn stellium. It's like an overambitious schedule, and I got sick for a week, and it really screwed me over in terms of completing it for what was scheduled for September, and I didn't start in August until mid-month, so I had to like really cram it in there. So I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna keep my schedule. I was gonna have like this like list of shows every month and like put them out, and it hasn't really been working. So I might still be remodeling my channel, and I started remodeling it in June, and it's continuing to be a process, so we'll see. But I'm gonna keep putting out similar content. I'm also getting this kind of pull towards I'm gonna need to be doing some more entity channeling soon, but I don't want to just I don't want to do, like, I don't know if I want to do the same people that I did already, especially the ones that came in anonymously, because they're like so polarizing, so famous, and I'm not sure if I want to change those titles to reflect who it was, because I know who it was, and it may or may not be obvious to some people, but I'm like sort of on the fence about like releasing the names. I have to think about it. And I also don't want to just do like try and do channelings for people, because I've seen a couple other readers channeling them lately, and I'm like, well, you know what, so and so was bothering me for a month last year, and I didn't channel them at all. And I was like, maybe I should have. And then I was like, because if I do a channeling, like some entity has to come and like bother me for a week before I'll be like, okay, let me get the cards, and we'll get you in the booth, and you can tell me what you want to say. So it's I'm not sure. It's like if I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna fake it. You know, if they're not bothering me, then I'm not gonna do a channeling. You know, it's not really up to me. Um, if I if I can if if Archangel Michael comes back and stops leaving me with the substitute teachers, then maybe I'll do a channeling for him, but we'll see. He's been off on assignment from my area for like a year, almost a year, and it's been kind of weird for me. So those are some things that are going on my channel. I'm gonna keep up with the stuff that I have laid out on Patreon. I haven't completed populating my 3rd tier yet. It doesn't really matter because I don't have any patrons yet. I'm just populating it, doing that sort of if you build it, they will come. I've had some really profound readings over on Patreon, and most of them can be seen for the $3 level. If you just want the like twin flame and romantic stuff, you might have to level up, but I might even do that differently. I don't think it really matters if I change stuff if there's nobody over there yet. So that's what it is. I don't want to just put out content to put out content. I want it to be valuable, and I don't really approve of doing horoscope readings all the time, but I think there's a reason that I'm supposed to be doing monthly horoscopes for now, because it's actually teaching me something. It's like a self-moving class. So I would think that oh man, I got it all over the side. I would think that there's a reason that I'm doing it. Like every time I practice doing different kinds of readings, it's usually picking up on certain energies. So we'll see. This is getting really long, especially for me, just not sitting at my table over there. So I had scheduled to do elemental horoscopes for YouTube. It'd be like 4 shorter videos, and like every fiber of my being is resisting. So I think instead of that, until I figure out what I want to do for a couple of days, I'm just going to put out this energy report, and then I'll do I might put some horoscope stuff on YouTube in like a week or something instead. Maybe do it like just once a month, because the other readings that I'm doing for Patreon take a long time. It's at least an hour for each one. So again, my content is going to be mostly the same, but the amount and what it is going to be shifting, because I need to I need some more quiet downtime where I'm not filming, so I can figure out what it is that I'm doing. And then if somebody orders a reading, it'll give me more leeway to hop right in there and get it done. If I'm not tied down to like 24 hours of filming just for Patreon, right? So if you do want to get a personal reading, you can hit me up there. The cat came back at camp@gmail.com. The full list of readings and how much they cost is in the description box of my infomercial, which is going to be linked below this. The thumbnail looks like this. If you want to go over to Patreon and see that stuff, go ahead and do that. And then you can also donate. You can hit that tip jar, paypal.me/cattheminion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. I've got merch and prints over here on Cafe Press and DeviantArt. I've got 2 coloring books and a poetry book that's kind of like Dark Night of the Soul stuff over on Amazon with that Kindle Direct Publishing. I've got a catalog that I need to do some edits on again finally. I've got chapbook packs. There's like little bits of poetry and art just jammed in a mystery envelope. Randomized, so it would be like a little, kind of like a little mini oracle reading, and just sort of like images and numbers and words that might trigger something in your energy. And then I also have made to order items, digital portraits, foam lotuses, drawing and or paintings. I have stuffed animals. I'm adding a new stuffed animal. I'm just trying to finish the build process so that I can repeat it. Still finishing the template for the trusses. So that'll be ready soon. It's going to be Odin's horse Sleipnir that goes along with the design that I've got over here in the prints and merch. So it's going to be a little plush animal with spider legs. So that's coming. I also have all art pieces too, like drawings and paintings. Then once they're gone, they're gone. I do have a set of canvas board angel paintings, so check out those links. If you have any question, just email me. The cat came back at camp@gmail.com. Okay, that was almost an hour. Holy crap! All right, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab. I'm the cat. No, wait. What am I? Yeah, the cat came back on Twitter, and Cat the Minion on Instagram. So you can come hang out with me there if you want. I changed my Facebook. That's Cat the Minion now too. For the business Facebook. Yeah, that's it. Stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.